Incredible greetings. Hello, everyone. Incredible greetings. How is everyone doing? Couple more days till gobble, gobble, gobble time. All right, let's get on over to Facebook, and we are going to make sure that this is on the right audience type, and we're going to share it out. I feel like it's been, I don't even remember the last time. I got so used to back in the day being live all the time. Like sometimes, even if it's like 3 days where I'm not live, it feels like forever. So I don't even really know how long it's been since I like haven't been online, but or haven't been live, but it feels like forever. So I'm going to say that like it feels like forever since I've been online with my peeps, and just chopped it up with you guys. All right. So let's see. Okay, let's go to edit our audience and make sure that it's public. That way you guys can hit share on it if you choose to do so, to share it with a friend. We are going to talk about design softwares. Normally, like a lot of my content now, I mean, it's so many new creatives and crafters and business people are getting to it for business, and I want you guys to really understand the software. So a lot of my content, people may not have seen it before, where I've talked about different design softwares. So a lot of it's going to be like talking about design softwares. We're going to get into specific days. Like I'm prepping for the new year. Like we're going to have specific days for like shirts and all the different methods for that. That will coincide with some other classes and things that we have coming up. Of course, always a sublimation talk because we are the home of Honestly Speaking, which is the best and most efficient sublimation paper. With our sublimation paper, you can sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. So definitely check that out if you are already into sublimation. It's okay to try out another paper and just kind of have that one, even if it might, we know, may not be your go-to. We hope that once you try it, we can become your go-to. But definitely at least try it out. We do have sample packs on the site. All right. Um, or if you're thinking about getting into sublimation, it's a great place to start for newbies because the paper takes out a lot of the guesswork for temperatures and times and things of that nature. Okay. So I'm going to share this out. As I share it out, drop a hey, how you doing? Let me know who is watching, who's in the chat, who's watching. Um, Let me know where you guys are watching from. And as you guys come, I'm going to actually adjust this over here to put a little banner for you guys. So that way, as I'm sharing it, um, okay, here we go. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and put that one on the screen. That way you guys can answer as you guys come in. Hello, everyone over on TikTok. Same question to you guys. If you are here and you made your way here, you already follow me because you've seen me do videos on designing. What design software do you guys currently use? Which one are you, what other design programs are you interested in learning more about? So like I said, in this particular live broadcast, we are going to talk about design softwares, their pros and cons, and how each will be beneficial to you. And we will also have, like I said, in the future, videos that are dedicated to sublimation. A lot of people ask about like the pigment ink because they almost like mistakenly buy the pigment ink from our website and they wonder what is pigment ink for. So we'll go back. You know, I have some videos about that, but we are always reaching new people based on my analytics. We have so many more new viewers to our YouTube channel, and we have over 9 years of content. So they may not go, no, double back. And some people feel like when it's like older information, they may feel like it's not relevant. But one thing about the professor is I teach things that are timeless. It's going to apply 20 years from now. A lot of these things will still apply, but most people just don't like to go back. So there are going to be some repeated videos. It might be a refresher for some. And some of you guys may know this information, but you just want to kind of support and hang out and watch the video. And for those who are new, this is going to be brand new information for you. So that is kind of the direction that we're going in going forward. All right. So let me go ahead, like I said, and get this all shared out. How are you guys doing? Don't forget, as you guys come in, answer the question on the screen. Which design program do you currently use, and which would you like to learn more about? Okay. And I said all that, and I'm still not quite shared out yet. So let me go ahead and get this all shared out. All right. Anyone traveling for Thanksgiving? Who's cooking? Who's not cooking? Let's be honest, who's responsible for bringing just paper products or drinks? All right. Who's responsible? Like, if you're that person, like, look, I just kind of bring paper products and drinks. All right. So if you're watching the playback of this, I do apologize for the silence. I was trying to type out the post to be able to share this out. So just give me a moment to share. And then we are going to get started. Oops, nope. Share to a group. All right, last one. There we go. All right. All right, so from Georgia, incredible afternoon. Oh, wow, from Italy. Thank you guys for joining and watching. So I am Shakia, the professor of HS Inc. 365. HS Inc. 365 is the home of the Honestly Speaking brand, which we talked a little bit about. Our sublimation paper, our sublimation ink, and pigment ink come in 140 milliliter bottles, so you get more bang for your buck. Great colors with our ink. They are made for converted printers. I will say this just off top. I get this question quite often. If you are someone that's looking into getting a Epson SureColor F170, F570, these are genuine genuine sublimation printers. So sublimation ink comes in those boxes. Our ink is for printers where dye ink or pigment ink comes in the box, but you want to turn that heat-free printer into a sublimation printer because sublimation ink is not in the box. Then you would use a third-party ink option. But if your printer in fact uses sublimation ink and that's what comes in the box, especially with water-based, I highly recommend that you stick with that. The Epson ink is not that expensive. Because and it lasts a really long time. Now it's a little, some people feel like when it comes to the sawgrass, even though it is a genuine like sublimation printer, that it is a little pricey. We right now do not have Sawgrass ink. Sawgrass uses a gel-based type ink, and our ink is a water-based ink, so you would not be able to use it. Now we do have some pre-filled ones. It's like we will never sell the refillable options for Sawgrass, but we are testing out some pre-filled options right now, and depending on how that works and how that compares in color to the actual Sawgrass ones, we may have that on the lineup. But for right now, we just have the water-based ink that is made for Epson printers to convert them. Whether you have an EcoTank printer or a cartridge-based printer, that's another video that's going to come up. We're going to talk about that again, like a full-on detail video going through all the printers, because another printer has entered the mix. I don't have that one. I doubt that I would purchase one. Unless I get like a Cashapp series going or a GoFundMe, something like that, where everyone's contributing to a whole other printer, because I really don't need the printer. But Brother has now come out with a branded, actual like genuine sublimation printer. So that was pretty interesting. I've been looking up information on it, and whatever information I do have, I will end up bringing it to you guys. But there is now another printer in the mix that is a genuine sublimation printer. So I'm looking forward to kind of giving you guys more information about that. All right. Then of course, Silhouettes Anonymous, that is the online platform where I have been teaching you guys Silhouette Studio for the past 9 years. So that's my YouTube channel mainly. And we were doing things like, you're going to find some of those same videos over on Facebook as well. So that's where you can find so much content. We try and do a good job of like at least putting the right terminology in the titles for you guys to find them. But it's not like it's in chronological order. I wasn't like, I wasn't like a crafter or something like this, like starting from the beginning and doing like, hey, watch me learn this. This is like a beginner task and like building up. It's a mixture of things, because by the time I got into Silhouette Studio, I was a seasoned graphic designer and using cutting machines and things of that nature. So it's not really in chronological order. We do have a program if you're kind of wanting to learn the software in order. We do have that option on our website. We have, got to take that off but hopefully you guys will have this deal on Friday as well. On Saturday, because the Dolphins play on Friday. So from Friday to Saturday, hopefully, this will come right back because we play on Friday. But we have the 30-day training. So I'm going to talk more about this and how it pertains to like what we're talking about. But if you're wanting to go through like kind of like from the beginning and really understand the software, we highly recommend that you look into our Essentials to Silhouette Studio program. All right. It's 30 days. Like, it was recorded over the course of 30 days, but you can take less time than that to go through it. But like I said, we're going to get into more details on that one. We also have Honestly Speaking, as far as our YouTube channel. You'll see so many like demos on there, not just sublimation. We've done things like party decor, foam board, HTV shirts, DTF, things with my eco solvent printer, doing stickers and decals, cheer signs, memorial signs, paper crafting. We've done so much on that platform. Outside of just the different sublimation things and the things that you can do with our paper and our ink. So definitely check out both YouTube channels and make sure that you guys are subscribed and you have notification bell set to all. Right now, we are broadcasting to all of our platforms. It's like a general one, so we don't want to miss anyone. But when it's specific things, like if I'm showing something for Silhouette Studio or with the cameos, it's only going to be on Silhouettes Anonymous. If I'm doing just like a demo or business talk or just creative talk, things like that, those type of videos live on Honestly Speaking. That just kind of gives you an idea of where you're going to find my content and things of that nature. Okay. All right, so I do see a couple of answers here. I'm currently using Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, both older versions, but they get the job done. I'm still learning Silhouette Studio Business Edition. All right, so let me ask you, what type of design projects are you doing or creating when you're in those programs? Do you own a Cameo to go with, Silhouette Studio Business, or you're just trying to learn it for design purposes? Hey, from Washington, D.C. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I use Silhouette, and for mockups, Photo P. Okay. Thank you guys. It's so weird how it comes up, but thank you for that. I can't act like because I use StreamYard, I can't actually see the emojis on my like in my comments. I'm pretty sure they're showing up if I'm looking at it on YouTube, but it doesn't show up for me on my side. So that's how it shows up when you guys leave emojis. All right. Okay, so let's see. Make sure that you guys over here double tap the screen, guys. We should definitely have more likes than what we see right now. As you guys know, when you don't have to wait for it to be something that's like jaw dropping. That helps the broadcast. If you're here, that means that you've probably come across my content before. You know that I always provide value. So for those of you who are not new here, you're not new. Go ahead, double tap that screen because it definitely helps the broadcast. It helps get more people in the room. And that's you already know it's going to be fire, so that's kind of an indicator for others. Hey, if somebody else is liking this video, that means that I might want to stick around. This person might have some information that's going to be beneficial to me, so I can get you guys to just go ahead and power tap that screen. Consider hitting that share button, sharing out with a friend. Even if you just hit share and go copy link, that definitely helps. And I'm talking to the people over on TikTok. One moment. All right. Okay, that threw me off. He threw me completely off. Okay. So let's see. Sorry. Oh, wait, no, not that one. I use a cameo and a portrait usually for my personal projects. Hello, Deb. Hey, I think I just saw your picture pop up on TikTok as well. Let's see. Yes, I have a silhouette cameo for, and I love it. Okay, so that's what we're learning that for. All right. So for those of you guys who are currently in the room, and if you are watching the playback, although it's no longer live, I get those notifications. A lot of times, especially within like that first week, I like to go back in and respond to it. I still want you guys to feel like you are a part of the conversation. So if you're watching the playback of this, do not hesitate to respond to it and leave those comments just as if you were live. That definitely helps as well. All of that engagement helps. If you enjoy the content here, help me out. Engagement is what helps our channel out. So always leave as many comments, as many likes and things like that as possible when you guys come to the platforms. Okay. So my question to you guys now is, what is it that you mainly want to learn design softwares for? So like, what is going to be like your number one thing? It can be anything. Like, it's like, okay, hey, I'm an event planner. I want to be able to, design invitations or design place cards. I do weddings, so I want to know how to create like really creative seating charts. How to decorate vases with things. If you're someone that does shirts, like I want to know how to make different types of shirts. I like graphic shirts. So I want to be able to design shirts that I can, do with like DTF or DTF or Sublimation, or I like, text-based design. So I can use a wide variety of things, everything from screen print transfers to HTV, DTF, Sublimation, white toner, which you can use white toner for full-on graphics as well. Eco-solvent prints, like the possibilities are like literally endless. If you're into drinkware, tumblers, mugs, flasks, shot glasses, wine tumblers, stemless wine glasses, all of those different things. Let me know what type of design projects do you typically create or what you're wanting to learn them for. And then on top of that, like text-based? Are you someone that's looking to fade off and blend things? Are you looking to change colors on items? Because that's going to determine which software is going to be best for you. Okay. She say all of that, all of it, all of it. I'm here for all of it. um, all right, so let's see. All right, so over here, I am learning more and more about layering HTV, putting shadows on rhinestone designs. I do t-shirt designs, but as I said, I'm still learning. Yes, me too. I would like to learn more about t-shirt designs. Okay. All right. So here's the thing for me, right? Sometimes we're going to go over now to Silhouette Studio. Sometimes if you are, okay, I'll ask this question, right? So it's like I'm learning more about layering HTV and putting shadows on rhinestone designs. So is it that you're finding it difficult to find the proper videos to show you how to do that? Or is it that, you found the videos and you're just now in the practice stages of it? I used to let you guys ask all the questions. So now I'm going to ask the questions for you guys to give me an answer, and then I can come back with an answer, because technically it is the question that you have. You just don't know the question that you have. So that's how we're going to kind of work these, because Q&As and me just leaving up to you guys just to ask questions. So many people are like, I don't know what to ask. I'm like so new, but I'm learning just from the thing, and that's why I'm asking questions about, like, what do you guys do? Because I can help you figure out the right avenues, the right info, like the right types of videos that you need to watch, help you with the right terminology, and get you set in the right direction so that you can do the things that you're wanting to do. So that's why I'm always asking, what is it that you want to do? Ideally, that what you want to do. I feel like if you're watching, either you just need a little bit of entertainment or, a little bit of background noise, or it's like, I still need some help. There's still some gaps in this whole process for me. It would be great to have someone who has some knowledge in this guide me and direct me so that I can fill in these gaps. I'm pretty good with the things I know. Hey, I know them to be true. I know how to do it, but I want to explore new things. That is what I am here for. That is what I do these live videos for. I really want to know what it is that you want to learn so that I can teach you what it is that you need to learn for that particular project. Okay. I do, and I try to do whatever my customers request. So here's the issue. Okay. I mean, I guess it's within reason. So it's like things like that is normally where I'm like, I go into, for lack of better words, I go into like mentor mode, right? Because that can mean so many things. And I like to do whatever my customer requests. Sometimes that's not a good mindset to have, because that can take you away from what your intended purpose was for your hobby, your side hustle, your business, whatever it is. That can take you away from why you started this, because now you're giving into what they want and building your business around them instead of building the business around what you are, like, your vision and what you are capable of doing. And then we start to stress ourselves out to reach that demand so that we feel like, oh, we don't want that customer to go find someone else to do it. If you've done really great work with them for like a particular thing, if, let's say right now you're not able to do certain things, trust me, they'll still come back. Like, I've had people where I've had to turn them away and I would recommend them to someone else. And the things that I'm known for, they come back to me for it. And it keeps me to where I'm not super stressed trying to figure out something that I just cannot do. Okay. For me, it's like I can't find a lot of Silhouette Studio tutorials. Luckily, I found you, dear professor, and I can finally learn a lot. Okay, so you mean before me you couldn't, because we have 9 years. But that's pretty interesting to me for you to feel like you can't find a lot of Silhouette Studio tutorials. because maybe I did something wrong on my end with how they're labeled or tagged and things of that nature, to where in your search, we weren't coming, like our platform wasn't coming up for you. So I thank you for that, because that means that I might need to do a little, a little bit more research and see what can I do to make sure those who are looking for Silhouette Studio related tutorials, they are finding our platform. Okay. Okay. So let's just kind of go back. First, let's break down these softwares, right? So Silhouette Studio is my program of choice that I like to teach from, especially to beginners. It's kind of like that gateway program, because there's so much that you can do in this software. All right. It is a vector-based software. Vector means that you are going to create things from paths filled in with solid colors. Now, when you go into Illustrator and things like that, I mean, or even so you can, fill it in with a gradient, you can fill it in with a pattern. But once you fill it in with those, they aren't really vector. Vector really is about shapes and paths and solid colors, and you being able to make them while you're in that vector-based software. You can make it as big or as small as you want, because when you open up vector-based softwares, you're not going to see pixels. So like, let's say Illustrator, right? If I go File, New, you will see over here where you can choose pixels and all the other units of measurement. But once you go over to the software, it's kind of just a blank canvas. You don't have all of the pixels. Whereas Photoshop, even if you open it up with like a solid white, underneath that is always going to be pixels, and everything is based off of pixels. And how you set those pixels make a big difference. If you make a mistake and set something to, like you set something to, like you're in pixels. So over here in Illustrator, these pixels are more so about size. So you're not going to necessarily see it as far as like resolution. So you see for raster effects, when you are adding like images, or you're going to save it and things like that, it will be 300, like 300. But as far as resolution, you don't see that in softwares like Silhouette Studio or Illustrator, because there are no pixels. But when we go over to Photoshop, not only do you have the size of, we're going to go File, New. Not only do you have the size, the same way it is in Illustrator, where you can do it off of different units of measurements. They have that way because different industries use different units of measurement. And then you have different parts of the world that use different measurements. I know when I'm doing a lot of paper crafting, a lot of the creators that I watch that are not in the States, they do everything based off of centimeters. Whereas I typically tend to walk, most of us here, we typically tend to go off of inches, and then, an inch, and then, a decimal behind it, where they're pretty much working off of centimeters. So you're going to have those units of measurement, pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, and picas. Like, so there's different industries that will use that. And then these are pretty much based off of the region where the person's designing. But here you have resolution. Your resolution determines how many of those white and gray boxes are on that screen. You can have something be 18 by 24, and it's 100 pixels per inch. So those boxes are going to be much larger. You're not going to really be able to capture a lot of detail. Think of it like building blocks. If you've ever done Legos, think about how difficult it is with really straight boxes, like blocks, to make something that is circular, right? Because these are like, they're much bigger if you have the big pieces. But if you go and you now have smaller pieces, so I know for me, I've played with blocks, the really jumbo ones, because I get those for my kids. And then I've had like the regular size ones. MJ is really into Legos and things like that. If y'all ever want to get y'all internet nephew something, he's addicted to all things Lego, like the characters and stuff like that, addicted to them. The little one is now getting into it. He's begging us to go to Legoland. We're trying to get that trip planned for him. My kids just love Legos. But the smaller the Legos, and when MJ's building them, you can end up getting things that are kind of like circular because it's smaller and the smaller pieces, and it's tedious putting them together, but you can create a wheel and you can create different rounded things and stuff like that. So think of Photoshop that way. The higher the number is for resolution, the smaller those boxes or building blocks are, and you can get smoother edges when it's saved and things like that. If you go and you look at a picture and you see like the colors are like staggered on there, you can almost see those little boxes. That means most times, 9 times out of 10, it was designed in like when they set their design page up, they did not have a lot of boxes. They set their resolution kind of low. On your phone, you don't need, or like on a display on a computer, you don't need it to have a high resolution. But if you're printing, because it can be blown up, shrunken down, that's where you want to adjust it. So that's a story for the other day. Really understanding when do you need to use 72, 100, 300. I mean, even going up as far as 400. A lot of people think that 300 is like the pinnacle of resolution, but there are some people who design in 400 DPI. Like they design higher than that because they want like a really, 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 really crisp. They want nice, clean edges on things. All right. So just know that 300 is not like, it's the baseline, but it's not like the top. You can technically go higher than that when you are designing things. All right. So that's one of the major differences between something like Photoshop and Illustrator, and then Silhouette and even Cricut Design Space. Now, Affinity is a little bit weird to me, which I do have that. I don't like to open up that can of worms for Affinity because then I get way too many questions about it and I don't teach it. I am not saying it's a bad one. I have the original. I know now there's Affinity 2. No, they won't be getting my money. Unless somebody plans to reach out to me for a sponsorship type deal and they're going to give it to me. I don't plan to download or purchase Affinity like 2. But when it comes to Affinity Designer, it's always a little weird to me because I feel like it's trying to be a mix between a Photoshop and an Illustrator. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Because it has resolution on it, like in Designer, like it has that, and it's not just like for raster. So that's always kind of like an issue for me. I'm just going to hit create. And for this to be, Designer is supposed to be equivalent to a vector-based software. So it is kind of confusing when you come in here and the canvas has the pixel, like it has the pixels. Corel Draw, vector based, it doesn't have that. So that was one of the major turnoffs for me when I first opened up Affinity Designer, because I'm like, you're confusing people. Those who are new, people say this is great for newbies because it's a one-time purchase and things like that. It's not, because it can be very confusing in how something is supposed to be set up. So hopefully that made sense. All right, before I keep babbling, let me kind of see here. For me, it's like I cannot, oh, and I saw that one. Okay, nope. I'm still in the practice phase of it because I'm always so reluctant about doing it because I don't want to waste my materials. All right, let me help you out right here, right now. Let me help you out with this, right? This is something that so many crafters and those who are beginning this is what they suffer with, right? Especially when business is on the forefront, is I don't want to mess up materials. When we were just like as crafters, yeah, we would kind of get like upset, whatever, but we wouldn't put that much pressure, and you wouldn't necessarily like worry too much about wasting materials. This is why it's important for your passion to become profit, which means you have to have those skills. You have to develop that. And in that area where you're not like thinking about the profit margin, you're not as concerned about like the waste, because if you are learning something brand new, there's going to be waste. Even once you are seasoned, I'm here to tell you right now on November 21st, 2023, I have been doing graphic designing. I have been doing hands-on projects for well over 20 some odd years. I started when I was 16. I am now 42. Okay. I still F up some stuff. I still mess up things. I still have waste. The fact that I use printers that I have no control over, I have no control over the electricity, and things will stop in the middle. I will forget to put my computer, like take it out of sleep mode. I used to do that when I first got my Roland. I would forget, it would go into sleep mode. Once it goes into sleep mode, you cannot come back from that. That you could be 85, you could be 99%, almost 99% done with that print. Baby, that computer shuts down and it goes into sleep mode. You have to start all over again. So it's wasted material because the bottom of it is faded off. It did not cut it, or I'll have to end up cutting that by hand. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. What can help you is understanding where those mistakes were, where, like, why was there waste? Why was there waste? What could you have done differently? Keeping a notebook and keeping up with those things. What methods work? What methods do not work? Okay. Yeah. Someone says exactly. Waste is inevitable. And if you are in business, this is why when I go into the business side of it, or when I was trying to teach the business side, so many people were trying to get into business during the pandemic. They weren't really trying to hear about building in waste. And when it comes to pricing, I teach this in pricing for profit. And that does bring me to kind of like a little break right here. Our Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like that whole little thing is actually going to be starting on tomorrow. So if you are on our email list, your deals will pretty much start tomorrow. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, it'll be to where if you got time, you can, go on, get a little, get a few things on Thanksgiving. So the email will go out tomorrow. You'll be able to take advantage of it early or late on Thanksgiving, and early, like before the sun rises for Black Friday. And then, of course, I will be live again, kind of just doing a live sale for the different classes that will be on sale. And then if my Dolphins win, then after that, you'll have certain products that's on sale. But most of our classes, not anything that is new, not any of the $5 challenges, but full-on classes, some of the things that have been archived, they will be made available again, and they will be discounted. The 30-day training will not be. So I'm telling you that now. The 30-day training will not be discounted through all of this. Only certain things will be. But when I teach pricing for profit, which that's going to be discounted, I teach about accounting for waste. And it's not such a big hit if you've accounted for that. So for all the orders that you end up doing that are perfect, that, 1 or 2 times where, like after every 5, you may have had some waste and a mistake. It's not that bad. You're not really losing because you've accounted for that in the regular price of the first 5 items. But I teach that in pricing for profit, the pricing therapy sessions. We go over things like that. So definitely. I was trying to pull it up. Oh wait, you're not going to see it on here, because they're archived. But the pricing for therapy sessions are on here. So consider coming to the site. You're going to end up seeing something that's going to say clearance or like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Like you're going to see all of that. So that's where you're going to find the information on those classes and things of that nature. Okay, it's going to be discounted. So definitely look into that because there's no avoiding waste. I've been enjoying the custom text effects course. I've been watching the video, but not had time to put it to practice. It's amazing how much you can learn in a 3-day course. Thank you so much for that, Deb. That's another one that will be available, discounted, starting Thursday. I can't always do what they want. I also take advantage of transfers from TKO. Awesome. I also have some customers who say they will only use me because I've been printing for them for many years. I mean, and that's a good thing. But I'm being very, very honest here. Loyalty is great. And sometimes it is really hard to find people that you can trust for things like that. But if it's something that's definitely outside of your wheelhouse, seek help for it, account for that, put disclaimers out there and let them know, like, this is something that's new for me, so it may take a little bit of time. Like, don't accept last minute orders for things that you have really like not a lot of knowledge on, because as loyal as they are, if it ends up messed up, they're gonna have something to say. So I get it while you're wanting to accommodate them, because I have people that are like that too. They're going to come to me for just about everything. But if it's something that's outside of your wheelhouse, just make sure that you're getting the proper help for it. Those things, don't try and figure out on your own. Reach out to someone that you trust to guide you in the right way. That way you have a satisfied customer. Okay. Hello. You're right. I think I heard you discuss this before. I'm taking myself into doing a design using the HTV Ron Sublimation for dark fabrics. I'm not really, I've never used that one before. For me, outside of glitter vinyl, because it gives it a different texture, actually I can't say that, because I do like the Subli Flock from Econo Transfers, but I was never really one into like the whole sub vinyl for dark fabrics. It's like that's kind of a hit or miss for me, because I feel like there's so many other methods that I can use, but I do love sublimation on glitter HTV. I did like the flocks. I thought about like with kids. So for me, it's like certain things that I would use sublimation to, these like vinyls and flocks and transfers. I still like Jet Pro 3G with my pigment ink printer. Even though I have a roll-in, I'm not really big on using my roll-in for eco-solvent prints. Like, I wanted it for something else, but I do have that option as well. So I guess I can kind of see that one. All right, let's see. What do we have over here on TikTok? Anyone had any questions? Let's see. I don't see anything. I don't think I missed anything over here. All right. So let's go back into talking about the software. Ooh, Jesus. All righty. Don't know what happened there. Why is my tripod is acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? All right. Why are you? All right. I have no idea, y'all. Sorry. I don't know why this is doing this. It's going to drop, and I don't know why. Okay. So y'all just going to have to sit like this for now, which is a weird angle. Okay. So let's go back to these softwares. All right. Illustrator, Silhouette Studio, Vector Base. Can you bring things into these softwares that are rasterized, so that are JPEGs and PNGs? Yes, you can. So one of the things that becomes an issue for a lot of those who are new to designing is thinking that if you bring in a PNG that is a low resolution and you bring it into a design page that is set to 300, that it will automatically or instantly improve the quality. That angle is driving me crazy. Hold on, y'all. Let me try and tighten up my tripod to maybe get this to stay up. I don't know why it's turning like this. This is driving me crazy. Hold on, y'all. Oh, Jesus. Did I just break this? Okay, there we go. I think we're good now. Okay. But you cannot bring in a low resolution image and think that just because the design page is 300, it is going to make it better. It doesn't. When it's like setting it to 300 DPI, when you are first creating it, when someone is taking a picture with their phone or with a camera, the resolution that they have set on that camera at that time will determine how that image shows up. A lot of the times people think that they have like the greatest pictures ever because they're looking at it on a small screen. We're in an age now where everyone is taking pictures from their phone, but not many people go into the settings and actually adjust anything. So it looks great on your phone, but the moment it has to go on something like, which here I didn't have that problem. These were actually all some really good pictures. Well, this one had like a little blurriness to it. But for the most part, these were like some really good pictures to where it didn't look bad when they were put on the, okay, I think I know what I'm going to have to do for this. There we go. I had to put something on it to hold it up. They didn't look bad when they got to the poster. But if they're not adjusting their settings, it looks good on their phone. There's a lot of backlight and it's really small. The moment you have to use it and blow it up on the shirt, you're going to see pixelation. It's not going to be a great quality. And then you as the designer, you're trying to figure out, like you're blaming yourself, thinking like, oh man, I want to make this shirt. Oh, this shirt doesn't look good because it's this image. And you're putting the blame on yourself and it's not you. It's the image that they gave you. You cannot put it in any software and just automatically have this look better. My sister's on the road, so I have to answer her. Hold on. All right, she made it here. Yeah, right in 12, like 12 hours. I told Even she would be here around like 3 o'clock. So, um, okay, yeah. So don't beat yourself up if it doesn't look great. If they're not paying for that extra service of trying to clear it up, where you're going to put it through an app, or you're going to try and go into Photoshop to somewhat clear it up and things of that nature. AI is actually making clearing up things a little bit easier. It doesn't necessarily clear it up, but what AI can do for you now, especially in programs like Photoshop, when you have the new version, which is what some of these other apps do, they will basically search for things that are like within the same colors, kind of sort of the same like eye shape and things like that. So it's gonna instantly do kind of like air, not say like airbrushing the skin and stuff, remove blemishes. But it will take really like another set of eyes that are high resolution and kind of make them line up. Not sure if any of you guys saw that post that was going around where a mother, I know her son took like the regular school pictures, and when she got the pictures back, because the young man didn't have like this like bright smile, they altered his pictures and gave him, I'm not sure that he naturally had dimples, but they changed his face. They gave him this big old smile, and she was like, this is not my child. I'm gonna need y'all to fix it. Please send me the untouched. Like, who told y'all to touch up my child's pictures? You can do that through the power of AI. And then some people who were great with Photoshop were able to, like, they are able to do that. Now it's a lot easier with AI. So there's so many different parts of AI when it comes to, I guess you would say, quote unquote, art. All right. But this is a JPEG where it was done in Photoshop and then it was brought over to to Illustrator, so I can, because the PNG PDF, I'm sorry, wasn't working with VersaWorks. The JPEG VersaWorks wouldn't open it. It kept saying it was corrupt. I don't know why. So I ended up having to save it as a PDF. The PDF from Photoshop was taking too long to print. So then I had to bring it over to Illustrator, save it as a PDF from here, then send it over to VersaWorks to get it to print. I know that was a lot. It wasn't meant for you to really fully understand that. It's just for you to understand that I had to go through a lot to get it to print. And this is why it's important to have multiple softwares, because although you can export or you can save as a Photoshop PDF, the way that it saves it and the data that's in there from Photoshop, it was too much for VersaWorks, and it trying to process it, it sat there for about 30 minutes, still stuck on 2%. Like, it would not, it was too much for it to process. So then I had to cancel that one, take the JPEG over to Illustrator, resize it, save it as a PDF here. where it basically kind of like compressed the size of it, then take that back over to VersaWorks. So it was a lot. So it's important to know the strengths of each of the softwares. Okay. All right. So like I said, Photoshop, Illustrator, Photoshop, Silhouette Studio, Illustrator, Corel Draw, Cricut Design Space. When you are creating things here, it is more so a vector base, like it's vector based. It's about lines and shapes and filling things in. Yes, there are gradients, but there are no brushes. So you'll notice there are no brushes in these softwares to create like pixelated type things. There's like pen tools, there's stamps and things like that. I mean, this one has like, I mean, I can say it doesn't have like a brush, but you see here, it'll say draw paths with brush strokes applied. First, like, whereas in Photoshop, you're really just creating, I'm going to close this. It's almost like an airbrush. And when you go across, think of it like how the ink and stuff will come out when you are airbrushing something. So let's say if I go here to the brush tool, you can change, of course, the size of it. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Okay, so let's just go. Yeah, cancel. I don't want to rasterize anything. Let's go. New. Incredible afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's see. I am doing awesome. Incredible. How are you? Let's see. You are so right. I have to tell customers to change the resolution on their cell phone. I can tell them that although images may look nice on the phone or online, it doesn't mean it will work, especially for printing. Okay, so I'm just going to go create. My Photoshop is acting a little wonky. I was actually supposed to take my computer home to figure out what's going on with it because I didn't really want to come into the office too much, throughout the holidays time and like tomorrow, like prepping and cooking and all that other stuff on Thursday. So I actually meant to take it because I cannot deal with this. Like everything is so slow. I don't know if it's just because I need to update to the 2024 version because I'm still on the older one and they're just messing with me. But all of a sudden it just started acting extremely wonky, like, and very laggy. And I'm like, if Silhouette Studio is moving smoothly, there is no reason why Photoshop should be lagging like that. Oh, well, look, Photoshop Silhouette wants to lag too, but I'll come back to that. All right, but anywho, I teach Silhouette Studio most times because it is great for beginners. No, you can't really fade off images in this software because it's vector based, right? But and I wish, one thing I really wish Silhouette would have that's kind of like Photoshop is if you do a gradient, and you can do a gradient that goes from transparent to black. So it's like it will blend it up to where it'll look faded on the bottom because you're doing this kind of gradient effect where you're going down to like no color. I really wish Silhouette had at least that. Mine was acting funny. Then it told me to update. Yeah, I think they're trying to force me to update to the newer one. But that's one of the things I really wish they kind of had. And then when it comes to text, I really wish we had like to automatically make it go into caps or lower, like, keep it in small caps, all caps and things of that nature. Those are some features I really wish Silhouette Studio had. But you can bring in JPEGs, you can bring in PNGs, all from the free version. And then you can, there are the icons, of course, which, oh shoot, my thing almost dropped. All right, it's going to be hard for me to show you guys on TikTok because of how this is set up. So I'm trying to turn it. Okay. So like your icons on this side, these are universal. Hold on. I'm trying to get it to where you guys on TikTok can see. All right, hold on. Okay, I think you guys can see there. All right. There are certain tools that are going to be universal across the board, no matter what program you're in. Things like your selection tool. this icon is pretty much everywhere. And that's where you know that you're going to be in a selection mode where you can click on something and then like you can move it around. Your lasso is a version, a way of like selecting things. And you think about what a lasso does. It's like you wrap it around the areas that you want to select. It's at the top. It's still about selecting. You in Illustrator, Photoshop, like you'll see something that's kind of like that, where at like Photoshop has a lasso one, but they also have selections that are, built into like rectangles or ovals and things like that. When you're using these types of selections, it basically gives you, I'm gonna come over here, like in Silhouette Studio, it's really small, but what it is what I like to call marching ants. You get the marching ants. Now, if I click and select, so you see here, the marching ants, the spaces in between it, the spaces in between it are a lot larger, but you get like the marching ants. If you were to go into Photoshop and things like that, they also have like up here, you have marching ants. So those are things that are like they're the same. So if you learn these terminologies and you learn these things in Silhouette Studio, once you are ready to kind of go to the next level, those are things that you don't have to relearn. You only have to worry about the new things, but you will understand what it means to see marching ants, like, and what when you hear like an instructor talk about marching ants, you'll understand that you're making a selection. What's inside of those marching ants is what you are selecting, right? So you see here, there's a lasso tool. So that's going to do like the same thing. And you see how that line, when I did the box, it was one way. Using the lasso, it looks kind of like a straight line. It's a thinner line, but you end up with the marching ant still. Silhouette Studio is going to be the same way when it comes to that lasso. You see how that line kind of looks. It's still little dashes, but it just looks a little closer. That's an indicator of using like a selection versus using lasso. These are all the same. Making lines, drawing shapes. We can skip these two because kind of drawing shapes. This is still kind of drawing lines. You have text, you have erase, you have a knife tool. And then this is kind of like a properties dropper. Not everything has a properties dropper. Really wish they did, but they don't. Like in Photoshop, there's not really like a properties dropper, but you can apply properties from one to the next, right? So I'm going to come back over here only because I was working on this already. So let's say whatever is on this jump out, and I want to now change it. It's a totally different font. Now in Silhouette Studio, if you were to do that, it's going to change the font as well. If you had, let's say, what is it called? Like line color on it. If you had the transparency taken down, all of those things, and it was still in text mode, it's going to transfer the text as well. But if you had converted to path, it's only going to transfer over like the color, the outline, the transparency, things of that nature. Photoshop has it to where, like, if I go here, the properties of this are called effects, right? So they're called effects. So if I come here, I know you guys can't see it on TikTok because you just kind of won't see it, but it has effects here. And if I right click it and I go down here to copy, it's going to say copy the layer style. I can then click on any other element and I can go back to that, go back to that same side, go over there, right click and tell it to paste layer style. And it's going to automatically change it. So it's kind of like having a properties dropper, but not quite like having a properties dropper, but you can reapply the properties of it. This one is a totally different font, right? So I can go to that one and I can paste those layer styles on that. It doesn't change the color of it. It's only going to apply whatever effects were like when you're looking at it. Well, you guys can see it on YouTube and Facebook, but you guys can't because I really can't move it around because it keeps dropping. Hold on. Well, let me try hold it up first. So this is this is the section I'm working on right now. Okay. What version of Photoshop am I using? I am still on 2023. I have not updated to 2024 yet. And if you're training like Photoshop and like Elements is not really Photoshop. Like I'm on actual Photoshop. So that's kind of the same, but not quite the same. So that's why I say certain things to me are like so much better, so much easier when I'm designing certain things, because I can apply those properties to several different things with just a click of a button. Okay. So like that's that side. Ooh, like that's that side over there. Now, if I were to, oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know. Hold on, y'all. Wait, I don't know if y'all heard that. I don't know if I muted or not. That was Banfield for my dogs. I thought that was somebody else. Okay. Um, Is it true that the 2021, 23 versions are the same? So for any of these softwares, you have to remember, for the most part, they're going to be the same. I really don't remember like the old one. I know I will say like the old school one, it definitely looked different. There are things that drive me nuts about the newer versions, because this kind of like, it's like Photoshop now kind of acts like um what is it? Oh God. I'm trying to think. Like Silhouette Studio, if I have a PNG and I didn't trace and detach it, and it's almost like an invisible, like it's almost like a glass mirror or like an invisible shield around certain things, to where like I can't click on here, and like if I click on the P, I'm not selecting that. The other thing now, before when it came to things being grouped together, which is a good thing, I'm getting used to it now because they did like an update. If things were grouped together and you clicked on an element, it didn't necessarily move together. You had to have them linked. Now, when they're grouped together, they move, because before, even if it was a group, if you wanted to click on the word boys, even though it's in that group, you you could move it by itself. So it kind of sucks now, and I'm hoping, because there was an update to the version that I'm on, but I did not update to like the 2024 version yet. I haven't downloaded that version. So like if I'm on here and I'm in the group and I click on, so like, man, y'all can't see it. I think y'all can see it on Facebook, but y'all can't see it over here. So if I click on this, it's not selecting like the word boys. It's only selecting the group. Whereas before, if I clicked on the word boys, boys would light up over here. So I can click on boys, or you can always, let's see. So even if I hit control and then click on that, it's not selecting, it's moving the whole thing. That's kind of annoying, because the way it's set up now, I either have to like ungroup it for a minute or whatever, or if I click on the word boys, I can't just click on it and then move it, because then it's going to move the whole thing. I have to click on it, and then I now have to use these foolish arrows to like move that over, like, and that is so annoying. So there are changes that they will make with certain updates, and it's not something that you're going to see cosmetically. You're not going to see that on the screen. You're going to see those so-called changes or improvements in the functionality of how things work, but it doesn't really change a lot about it. And for some people, if they're using it a certain way, some of the changes that were made, they'll never experience it because they're not using it in that manner. One of the things that I'll tell you, like, because I've been using Photoshop for a long time, right? So having content aware fill, which has been around for like many, many years, but like when I first started, that wasn't an option. So when you're removing blemishes or you're wanting to fill things in and stuff like that, like you're using your clone tool and you are like copying it and you're cloning one part of it like into another area. Now, like we have a class on our website that is, I'm going to come over here. It is it, oh God, which one was this? I'm trying to think. It's the name, the title of it is escaping my memory right now. So I'm just gonna go find it. Um, hey, where's the class? I don't remember it being down this far. Oh, is it the Photoshop? No, it's not Photoshop Essentials. It is, hey, that one's not up here. Why is that? Oh, no, here we go. Duh. Intro to Photoshop, image editing, and effects. This threw me off. Big old Photoshop here, but it threw me off. So, like with this one, I was showing like how to do simple edits to images. One of the images that we use in this class is a picture of Brandy, and she has a stone in the middle of her forehead, which was a part of her outfit. So back in the day, like with the different versions of it, you had like the clone tool, right? And you would go pick a area of her forehead that was kind of like similar in color, and then you would basically brush over it so it looks like you're replacing you're going over that with samples of like other parts of her forehead. Well, now with like an updated version, which they came out with this like years ago, they end up making it easier for you because you can do content aware fill. So it will do it automatically for you. It's going to sample everything around it, and it's going to kind of create different, like it's going to really blend it out. So if you are someone that just never looked for that content aware fill, if no one ever told you it was there, you're going to see it as, oh, well, I'm still fixing this and I'm still editing this the same way. There was nothing to really help me because you never explored that. I'm all about when you have a software, explore it. If they gave you an update, if it looks like nothing has changed, take a few days, break up the time when you do it, but really explore. Click on different things. Look and see if there is something there that, like, hey, I don't remember seeing this here. Let's see what this does. Because on the surface, it may look like nothing has changed, but there are changes. I'm new to Photoshop. I don't know how to make an offset. Can you please show me? Guess what? There is no offset option in Photoshop. That is something that you would end up doing like in Silhouette, and like how those offsets are, it's a little bit different. So that's not something that is in there. Like how I can go over. That's a great question. Thank you so much for joining our live, Mary. I don't think I've seen your name before. Make sure that you follow me. I will definitely follow you back. I see you're following me, so I just hit follow back. That is an amazing question. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that about Photoshop, and understand, like, this is why I do this, right? To understand what you can do in one software and what you can't, and why you need to maybe sometimes learn multiple softwares, right? So if I go to Select Studio, right, I come here and I'm going to fill this in with some color, and I want to do an offset on this. So I'm going to go over to the offset tool. I know you guys on TikTok cannot see what I'm clicking on. This is why it's also a good idea to enroll in our 30-day silhouette training. That way, even if you're kind of watching something, or anyone's video, and they're not able to fully show their screen, I'm doing a screen share on Facebook and YouTube, but over here, you guys are on my phone. It's a landscape, view. I can't really turn it. So you may not see certain things, but if I say offset, you'll end up knowing like which tool to go to. Okay. So we're going to go here, right? And I'm going to go to my offset tool. So this is the panel that comes up. And so if I go offset, right, I can make this as big, like I can determine right now, like how big I want this offset to be. Right now, I have rounded corners. So I'm going to go to regular corners. It's going to make that where it's sharp. I have that option to do one or the other. I'm in an older version. If you use the newer version, it tells you like that corner radius, you can even adjust that. I just don't really care for the newer versions right now. So I'm still in 4.3. So I don't have that option, but I can flip between rounded and corner, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply on that. And I'm going to just fill that in with a green, even if it's text. All right. So like and follow. Okay. Oops, wrong thing. I put the money sign instead of the and sign. So and follow. So I'm going to take this one. We're going to go ahead, change this out real quick, make that some sort of script type font. Let's make you guys a nice bold font. Add a little bit of color because I want you to see the differences in the offsetting, okay? How do you convert a free SVG? I'm not sure what you mean by that. How do you convert a free SVG? Which program are you talking about? Is it that you have an SVG and it's because you don't have Designer and you can't open it in Silhouette? I need a little bit more clarity on that question. All right, so we're just going to use this one. Okay, I'm going to fill it in with some color. All right, so I have something that has a lot of sharp lines. Another one's where it kind of flows, right? So if I were to go offset on this, I can make it to where everything is rounded. I'm going to go, I'll leave it there. I'm going to hit apply and group. You bugging. Group that, fill it in with some color. All right, so now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to offset, but I'm going to make this one corner where I'm going to have, if there's, well, actually, no, this one really doesn't, now that I think about it, this one doesn't really have a lot of sharp corners. Now that I think about it, now that I really look at it, I mean, kind of, sort of. So yeah, it does have some. So like right here, it's a nice sharp corner. Here, it's rounded. If I come over to Photoshop, so right here, I have jump out boys or jump out, right? You know what? No, let's go to a new one. I'm going to do the same exact thing that I have over there. So we're going to turn off our marching ants and we're going to go like and follow. Same keyboard shortcuts. I hit V on my keyboard in order to get to the selection tool. In Select Studio, it's an arrow. Here it's called Move Tool, and it's basically like it's like a cross, and that's how you move things around. But at the end of the day, it's the same, and you get to it the same way. You hit V, and that's the same across like all platforms. So that's why I like to teach it from Select Studio first, because it is 100, like it is completely free, and you have so many amazing options from the free version. So here we're going to change this. Now, changing font in Photoshop, it's not my favorite. It's definitely not my favorite. I despise changing fonts in Photoshop because when you want to go back, it doesn't like start where that font is. Whereas for like Silhouette Studio, if I go all the way down to like Pecan Pie, when I click on it and I go to the font list, like it's going to start on Pecan Pie. And then like I can go to like what's around there. Photoshop doesn't. You got to retype that bad boy in and it's annoying. And it's taking forever. Don't mind me. Okay. So now I'm going to again double click on this. I'm going to click here, select that. And let's go to, I don't remember what it was. I think it was that one. I think. Make sure that you guys are, oh, come on, TikTok. We definitely can do better than that on the likes. We can definitely do a little bit better. I know that I have dropped information that is definitely more than the number of likes we have on the screen right now. Don't be stingy with the likes. Don't just kind of, you're just sitting there. It's just information. You're not really, following along, and go ahead and double tap that screen. Okay. All right. So let's go Like because it was on. Oh, so I was like, why does it keep doing that? This is the thing with like Photoshop, right? So I'm going to highlight because right here, it's set to all caps. So even though I don't have caps on my keyboard, here it's set to all caps. So if I want it to look the regular way, I have to deselect that. So that one will go regular, but here, over here, we see that it comes back. So it's still there. That's the part that can be a little bit complicated for some people because it's all of these moving parts. It's not simplistic at all. There's a lot of great things that you can do. And when you do it in these programs, it makes the overall like experience kind of easier. When I'm doing like for my thumbnails, because I have layer styles and it's the same, I can change out names. The effects on it will stay the same. It makes my life easier. But when you're like, dang it, you look at your keyboard like, oh shoot, like I don't even have it on caps. Like, was it doing that? If this was hidden and you don't actually see it, you're not thinking to click that to see that, oh, I have the caps lock in the program, and you're trying to figure out what the heck. And you're like, okay, wait, does this font only have uppercase letters? You're not really seeing it. These are the small things where some people are like, man, I don't like this. It's so difficult. I was trying to do X, Y, and Z. In the other program, it came out one way. Over here, it's doing something else. And then it's like your spacing or kerning, like things like that. In one program is set one way, and another set a different way. Like the spacing in between it, because I don't really feel like it's that spaced out in Silhouette Studio, because it's not. See, there's less space here. But when you go over to Photoshop, because of the way the kerning is, come on now, it looks like a little. I did not tell you to put 2 Z's in there. Okay, I don't got time for this. But anywho, that's a story for another day. I'm not doing like a full-on tutorial. So like with this one, there is no offset. So what you would end up having to do to have that look of an offset around it is to double click on that layer and go into your image effects. And you're going to put a stroke around it, and you can, tell it how big, how small you want that stroke to be. However, it's going to be completely rounded. You're not going to be able to have straight lines when it comes to Photoshop. So you're going to go here. You're going to go to where it says stroke. Okay. You can only do one. So if you wanted to see multiples, you then have to make that font a smart object. That way it stays the same as you change it. It's going to, just remain the same. And then on one, you would do one size stroke. Then, actually, no, you can't do more. No, I'm lying. I'm telling the fib. This is not one of the ones, because this doesn't have a plus sign. I forgot. You can do more than one. I don't like to do it this way. I'm going to go off of, I don't mean to say you can't do it. The preferred, like for me, the preferred method is to do layers of it and then put the different strokes on top of that. But no, anything that has a plus sign, you can always add more than one. If it's something that doesn't have a plus sign, you can't add more than one of them. So like outer glow, it can only have one. A pattern overlay can only have one. But a gradient overlay, you can technically have two, which is kind of really pointless in having two. But like the stroke, you can have two. Beveled and embossed, you can only have like one of those. So my bad on that one. It's just how I prefer to do it. So you would have these two. And so then on this one, I'm going to make it where it is we're going to change the color on that. Okay. And then with Photoshop, it's like all of these different windows that you have to open up. Whereas a lot of the other softwares for a beginner, where you can kind of control it all from one window and don't have to open up another window just to change the color. Now, it is a good thing because your colors are more accurate when you do it that way. But if you are new, you may not, that can be a little intimidating with all of these boxes opening up. And then keep hearing all these dings if you click on something while another box is open. So now I'm going to come over here to stroke 2, and we're going to click on that. And right now we don't see a change in it because it is pretty much the exact same size as the other one. It's hidden right behind it. So let's go over here to like this green color, and we're going to go okay. And now we're going to increase the size of it so that it comes and it peeks out from above the blue. The order that it is in, and then over on this side, you'll see how that's going to show up. So if you're just looking for the effect of just different lines as far as an offset, you're able to do it this way. Now, if you are looking for it to be where you can separate it, this would not be the ideal way. You want to have it as a second one, and then you can do things like select the pixels on the top layer, and then you can subtract for the bottom one, or you can rasterize that and then fill the whole thing in. Like there's a lot of little things that you can do if you're just trying to create like an outline. Or you want to be able to have them where they're separated. This way they're together. And so you're going to go up and you make it bigger than that. And then I'm just going to hit OK. So for a beginner, which program do you recommend, Silhouette or Photoshop? It really depends on what is it you're trying to learn. If you're just trying to really learn like to navigate, or if you want to do like decals, you're going to, you want to be able to cut vinyl. If you just want to kind of create that effect of an offset around something and then moving it down and over and just kind of creating certain like effects, Silhouette Studio is a great place to start. If you're looking for something for blend mode so that things blend a little bit different, being able to weld or merge layers into one, like you're going to basically combine them outside of just grouping. If you're looking to fade things off, then Photoshop is best for that. I utilize both for different reasons. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm not making it a smart object. I'm just going to basically duplicate it so I can turn off this one. And then I'm going to duplicate this again. So by duplicating it, up here, I duplicated and I moved it. When I just duplicated it again, you guys saw it over on Facebook and YouTube. It's just underneath, but it doesn't move. Like it's right on top of the other one because I duplicated it, the layer, but it stays in place. So now this one that's on the bottom, I'm going to turn this one on and turn this one off. It doesn't look like a big change, but I can move this. If I wanted this to be like to appear solid, right? I can click on the text. I'm going to click here. And I'm going to simply choose the same color. So I would be able to have those things be separate. So I'm going to go like that, right? To where it looks solid. And I could then create like this. I can move this up, over, you know, it doesn't have to sit like right on it. So I can kind of create that effect, or I can have it here. And if I wanted to design here and then send it over, like, you know, I want it to come over here because I say I wanted this to be like embossed, but I want to have the color outline and things like that. I can now save this, take it over, you know, save it as a PNG, take it over to Silhouette Studio or Cricut Design Space, Leonardo, and I would be able to do a print and cut where this is going to be solid. It's going to be the color that I want. So you end up having to do just a few more steps here compared to Silhouette. I go and, okay, so we're going to group, we're going to put the offset on that. The shadow here is more of a vector shadow. So instead of making another offset and moving it down, I can go and I can use the shadow function. I'm sorry, wrong one. I can go over here. I'm going to use the shadow function. It's going to add a shadow. I'm going to take my transparency all the way back up. I'm going to go to my color. Let's make this that green color. I'm going to pan it. And so see, I'm able to easily move this around and create this quote unquote shadowed look or offset look. Okay. Or I can click on my offset, do another offset, hit apply, group it together. I'm going to use my properties dropper, fill it in with that color. No. So I want to use my color dropper because for some reason it's picking up kind of weird. And then I can move it over. So the process to do it is a little bit easier and a little bit smoother. Now, can I do an embossed effect on this? No, I cannot. But if I'm doing something simply with text and I want to create this effect, I personally feel it is easier to do it in Silhouette Studio versus doing it in Photoshop. Make sense? So I don't ever choose one over the other, but just learning basic terminology and basic concepts of how to put together a design, taking trainings in Silhouette Studio can be really beneficial for you. That's where our 30-day training comes into play. And if you want to know, like if you just rather stick to Photoshop, we have an Essentials to Photoshop where I keep it based off of my industry. Those who want to make shirts or chip bags and things of that nature, like what's the essential tools for that? Knowing how to blend things off, knowing how to change colors, understanding your smart objects, content aware, your brush tools, your clone tools. So we focus on those elements. Your blend modes are really, really important. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to click on this yellow. No, not that one. It should be, where is it? Okay. I hate when it does this. This is one of those things that I don't like about the new one. Okay, so no, not that one. And I hate it because if I click on something, like I'm clicking on this element and it's not selecting that element. That's driving me crazy. I gotta figure out. Okay, so here it is. All right, so this one right here, right? So right now it's on pass through. So if it was on normal, I don't see the gates. So I'm not sure if you got, I'm going to try and zoom in. Hold on. I'm going to zoom in to just. Ooh, hey, nobody told. Okay, okay. So if we pay attention to like the gate area, the background behind it. So if I click on that layer right now, actually, no, right now it's on overlay. If I go to normal, you don't see any of those other things. Now I can take down the fill on it and it's going to make it where it's a little more see-through, but you're not going to like fully see, it's not the same. So you're just seeing like a yellow overcast, like over it. It's not like how it was before where it's kind of blended into it, right? So we're going to take that back. So if I go to dissolve, it's going to give me like these little like specks on it. You really still can't see it, right? Then if I go to darken, over here, it became like it really blended with it. So when it mixed with that steel pole, it now looks a little bit green. The areas around the lights look green. So Photoshop is great for creating effects and using different blend modes and things like that. So if I go multiply, it's, you know, you can just know, you'll notice like the difference. So as I go through each one, so this was on multiply. Now I'm on another one called color burn. And now the lights are not yellow. It's yellow around it, but the lights still come off as white. Linear burn is back to being that, and it's changing it. It's more of an orangish color. It determines like your blend mode determines how the top layer interacts with whatever is behind it, and it'll change the color. So if we go darker color, it's like it's keeping it solid. Like that looks weird. We go to lighten, it's washed out, but we see the white. We go to screen. You don't really see the black behind it. It's yellow. The highlighted areas are more pronounced, so they become white. Color dodge, it's mixing that yellow with the color of the background. I'm getting like a reddish orange. Linear dodge. So as we're going through each of these, it's giving me different colors. So in this case, overlay was the best. I got to keep the black background, like, you know, because that's behind it. It keeps it where it's dark. It is changing the color of the gate. My lights don't end up with yellow over the light. They still look like lights. So you have to understand blend modes. So in the essentials to Photoshop, we talk about blend modes and how it's going to affect your design, and that there's really no one, like there's no one way like, oh, this is going to give me this result. Sometimes you have to go through all of them to see if that's the look that you want. Make sense? So I'm just going to go through all of these so you can see how all of these blend modes give you a different effect. So if you have it like this one, probably would have been perfect because their colors are blue and gold. That would have been a nice little effect, right? See this one too, right? Nice blue where I did. So their colors are blue. This one, the way it interacted. If I was trying to figure out, okay, do I want this to be yellow? Do I want it to be blue? All I had to do was just go to a blend mode and it instantly changed it for me without having to go in and actually change that color to blue. And we're going to divide it. I like that one. Hue, it is for this particular one's not going to really do anything. Saturation, color, and then luminosity. So it's just grayed out. Understanding these things, and one of the things that we're going to teach in the design classes, for me, designing is not about just, hey, let's pull this in, pull that in. How do you determine like the right look for the project? Which blend mode is going to work best, and like how these colors interact for the aesthetic of like what I'm trying to accomplish. If that is something that you're trying to learn, I encourage you guys to make sure that you are on our email list. That way, when the information drops about our master's program, now master's is not necessarily like we're going to go through beginning designing. Beginner learning for a software is not the same as beginning classes for designing. We are going to focus in the masters, which will be kind of sort of like beginners for like putting together and understanding like how to choose the right fonts and stuff like that. The doctorate program is where it's like, hey, we are going in deep, okay? But masters is kind of still like we'll have beginner sections or sessions for designing and just really understanding how to put things together. In the master's one, I don't go over like where things are or breaking down. This is the use of this. This is how it works. Like that takes too long. So we will focus on layout, composition, how to fill in space, how to identify negative space, how to like think about the theme that you're having, using AI to kind of help you understand what's going to be the best elements for it. Like these are things that we're going to do in the master's program. But it definitely starts with doing essentials. So you're going to still need essentials to Silhouette Studio or essentials to Photoshop, depending on which program you take. At first, we were going to kind of combine them, but there are some that just don't have Photoshop. So we will have sessions for masters of Silhouette and then masters of Photoshop. People ask me about Illustrator all the time. I don't teach Illustrator. Even though I use it, I will only teach Illustrator or show Illustrator as it relates to me going over there to set up files for my Roland. So those who are in like the Roland classes, you'll see me kind of go over there. When we get to the part about creating templates, I design in Silhouette Studio. I take it over to Illustrator to do certain things over there and then save it as a Photoshop file. So we will use Illustrator as a pass-through, but I do not teach designing in Illustrator. All right, so we can stop asking that one. All right. But oh wow, we're already at an hour and a half. Man, it's always so much information and I get wrapped up in it and I want to kind of provide like all the information, but I'm going to go ahead and stop here. A lot of information there. Of course, I can't teach you everything within like 30 minutes to an hour, but hopefully it's giving you guys something to think about when it comes to like just these softwares and the benefits of them. And sometimes you're going to need more than one software. If you need to do something like really, really quick and it's just colors and fonts, and even sometimes bringing in a PNG, Photoshop can be overkill and Silhouette Studio will get the job done for you. I designed from Silhouette Studio for DTF prints, for screen printing, design in there to be able to print and cut on my Roland. There's a lot of things that you can do. Someone asked a question. I'm not sure if she kind of left when she says, how do you convert a free SVG? Like I said, I did not really understand what you meant by that. Hopefully the next time I'm live, you are on. She didn't follow me, so I don't know if she'll find me next time and I can get a little bit more clarity on that question. or if someone else, if that's kind of one of the questions that you have, make sure that you keep that question in your back pocket. And the next time that I go live, that you post that question. But we're going to go ahead and close out, guys. But don't leave just yet. Let me do a little shameless plug because we have a lot of great resources, guys. If you love it, this was just kind of a free walkthrough. Wasn't required to pay anything. Didn't ask for any gifts or anything like that, where it's more so beneficial to me. I want this to be mutually beneficial. You guys are getting the information that you need. If you need, here and there, and it's great to kind of have like these little tidbits in between classes. So that, how you can say thank you is go to our website. If you do sublimation, check out our sublimation paper, our sublimation ink. I know ink is a little bit difficult to sometimes switch, especially if you have an eco tank, because the ink lasts so long. But with paper, some papers you might like for certain projects. So definitely try out our paper. Go to our website, go to our TikTok shop, and check out our sublimation paper. It comes in all the standard American sizes: 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17, 13 by 19. We have fast dry and tacky. We've had, read the descriptions. It tells you the differences on there. And then outside of that, if you don't do sublimation, you're just doing like shirts, any of these classes will end up helping you. We have so many. Essential Silhouette Studio and Photoshop Essentials, they only go on sale like if the Dolphins win. But a lot of these other classes will be on sale. So make sure that you guys at the bottom, I think it'll say something about like class updates, or it'll pop up for certain people like on their phone. Fill that out. Emails are going to go out. Those who are on the email list and you're checking from your emails, you're going to get the best deals. And then when we go live after, like on Black Friday, we're still going to have some amazing deals on the cost of the classes and the discounts on them. But go through them, make a list, put them in your cart. That way you are ready for the discount code once it's sent to you via email, or once that code comes across. Make sure that you guys are subscribed, because some codes will only be active while I am live. And then there's going to be others, because another email is going to be sent out and you'll be able to take advantage of them. So make sure that you guys are here, because we will have codes that are for really, really great discounts when we are live. And once I hit in live, those discounts will only be active for 10 minutes for you to get on there and complete your purchase. So add your classes that you're interested in. If you have questions about them, you can send, like if you want to know like what's taught in it and you don't quite have any clarity on it, you can always send us a message on the website. You can join the groups, any of our groups on Facebook, and ask a question. Or you can always email us as well for any questions about it. All these classes are basically playbacks at this point. We don't have any new live classes scheduled yet, but they may or may not be there for early bird special purchasing. But we don't have any of the live classes, but they're coming. All of these classes are not pre-recorded where I'm just sitting at my computer and just pre-recording them. They are all shot in front of a live studio or Zoom audience. So you get to hear other creatives, hear their questions. We go step by step by step. You're able to like pause and play, take notes and things like that. So it's a great, great experience if you've, whenever you take any of our classes. If you would like to kind of get an exam, just get a taste of how I teach, these are not going to be on sale at all, at any point, because they're already like an amazing price. So any of the design challenges, I encourage you guys to go onto the site today, sign up for a few of, or enroll in a few of the design challenges, check them out. And that way you're going to see if it's going to be worth it for you to go ahead and invest in some of our higher ticket items or mid-ticket items on our website, especially with, the discounts. All right. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.